Hi everybody, this is Silvio Canto in Dallas, Texas on Saturday, August the 11th, and welcome to our video commentary. You know, we used to call President Ronald Reagan the great communicator, and that was because he had this incredible ability to communicate, whether he was giving a patriotic speech, whether he was giving a serious speech, a policy speech, or whether he was healing the nation, let's say after the Challenger tragedy in January of 1986. It just seems like Ronald Reagan just had a knack for telling people what they needed to hear. And even if you didn't like him, he had a way of communicating with you as well. It was a great talent that, frankly, a lot of presidents have not had over the years. And one of the great things that he had was a sense of humor, and he knew exactly how to play with humor as well as anybody who's ever been president. And on this day in 1984, President Reagan was getting ready to do his radio speech of the week. Ronald Reagan returned to the presidency the idea of the radio speech. Obviously, President Roosevelt began this in the 1930s with the fireside chats. It kind of faded with presidents after that, but President Reagan returned radio to the White House, and every Saturday morning he would give a speech from the White House or wherever he was that day, and he would talk to the nation. It was a short speech. It was like a little update on this, on that, and became very popular. And to this day, other presidents have continued that Saturday morning speech tradition. And on this day in 1984, President Reagan was getting ready to do his Saturday morning speech, and he was doing the microphone test, so he was tapping, on the microphone to test it. And he said something like this: "My fellow Americans, I have just signed legislation to do away with the Soviet Union or Russia, and we will begin bombing them in 5 minutes." And of course, the whole thing was a joke. It was nothing obviously serious, but he was just joking. And most people took it that way. Most people took it as a joke. Now, of course, you always have your selective indignation on the part of political opponents. But at the end of the day, it went down as another example of Ronald Reagan knowing how to use humor and knowing how to communicate with the American people. And that's why we remember him as the great communicator. And, I think I will forever say that I was very proud of the fact that I was an adult and a citizen of the United States during the Reagan presidency, because we always felt very proud of the United States when Ronald Reagan was in the White House. There was just something about the way he communicated that I think made all of us feel very proud to be U.S. citizens. So we remember today the great communicator and that wonderful joke from the Oval Office on this day, August the 11th, 1984. We have all of these videos on YouTube, we have them on Twitter, and we have them on my blog. And if August 11th is your birthday, happy birthday. Bye-bye, everybody.